did you see the Uncharted movie?
No, I don't think I will.
I want. Oh wait, hold on. Can you not swear in the beginning of your podcast without?
Oh no, I think that's totally chill. I think even like YouTube lacks that stuff.
Damn ass hell. You can say bitch. You can't say fuck.
YouTube.
Do we put these on YouTube? Is this on
we
YouTube?
put this on YouTube.
This one's gonna get in trouble. I said fuck like 3 times.
Only if we're monetizing it. We're not monetizing.
Why aren't we monetizing it?
Because we don't have. I think you have to have so many followers to monetize on YouTube. Hey guys, follow our YouTube. It's a weird, and that's the weird thing too, is we don't even have a good URL for it because you have to have more followers to get a good URL. So or it's just like go find. If you go to the Twitter, click the link tree. It's got the links there, and YouTube.
Put on. This is Inside Baseball for the opening of a show. I was hoping you had seen Uncharted because I haven't seen it yet, and I wanted to talk about it. But I guess you didn't because we don't have enough followers. You know what we do have enough of?
What do we have enough of?
I have more trophies than you. Damn ass, shit, hell, piss. Gotta get that out.
This is the perfect way to start it.
Welcome, friends, to I Have More Trophies Than You. This is a video game podcast about video games and the different ways that people play them. I am one of your hosts. I'm Dr. Ryan, and I'm only now the 89th best gamer in all of North America.
Hey, and I'm your other host. My name is Chris, and I am the proud owner of a brand new PlayStation 5.
Fuck. Yeah, you did it.
And let me say, I'm really liking it. I think it's
it's already there?
Oh yeah. It was like 1 day shipping.
Damn.
Like it was super quick. Yeah.
All right. This episode has just gotten longer. Let's talk about it. Okay. First of all, what was the first game you played on it?
The Astro's Playroom. I wanted to feel the controller.
What did you think? I know we talked about it a couple episodes ago when we were doing the Demon Souls thing. I talked about it and I tried to tell you about it. What did you think?
I still have one more stage to play because like I didn't want to like burn myself out too quick on it because I think it's an easy platinum. Like I've found almost every little thing in it too. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna platinum this game, but I don't want it to be my first one. So like I have that final stage, which is the PS1 stage, but otherwise like it's great. I do have some complaints about the controls just because I hate gyro controls, motion controls.
Listen, the gyro controls part isn't great, but also they're trying to show you what it can do.
So and so that's kind of why I
forgive it for that.
Yeah, I can forgive it a little bit because it does feel like this isn't their first platformer.
No, they made Astrobot Rescue for the PSVR,
right. And they've made some other stuff, haven't they?
Probably,
I think so. But like, I honestly would kind of want like a collectathon open world. Like Mario Odyssey. This shit. Like
I was saying that before. Like this game has just made me want them to just make a fucking Banjo-Kazooie with Astrobot. In PlayStation Land, because that was my favorite thing about it was all just like the PlayStation overload.
Yeah, I really got into like finding all of the different cameos, I guess you would say, or like hidden, like seeing Crash Bandicoot or something, or like, and trying to even recall, like there was even one when it got to like the Buzz Game Time where there were like 4 of them sitting around. I was like, man, what a weird property to like give a shout out to. And I guess when did the PlayStation come out, in 2020 or is it 2021?
What, the PS5?
Yeah, was it 2020?
It was November of 2020.
2020. Okay, so yeah, like in 2020, like what a weird property to like give a nod to. But I loved it. I've again, like I'm almost through it all, and I've found like every little hidden puzzle piece and all the the gadgets that PlayStation's had in the past, and I really love that. I really hope that we get something more from them. Like even if it's not Astro, just like give me that platformer again in a grander scale, and I am so down for it, because it felt like Bowser's Fury with Mario, where it's like oh yeah, it's just this little edition that you get packaged with the big deal.
Yeah.
It feels kind of like, it is definitely a test to be like, hey, here's how the controller works and all these new features and shit. Or like updated features like the gyro meter being a little bit better than its PS3 6-axis counterpart. But like, I thought it was great, and I just kind of want more of it now. I would really want more platformers in my life right now.
Like, I joke that I want it to be I just want a platformer. It doesn't have to be PlayStation themed, but I did like that this, like, we talked about this on the episode, so I know I'm going to repeat myself, so I do apologize. But the great thing about this is it's a blast of PlayStation. All of the things, like, each level is based on each generation, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And even all of the fucking trophies are references. There's trophies based on Horizon. One of the trophies is just called Charted. That's for doing everything in the jungle. And that's, of course, Charted is the name of the trophies from Uncharted for the difficulties. There's trophies in here named after, like, Twisted Metal. And there's one for Heavy Rain. There's also, they've just got one, like, they have a trophy called Play Has No Limits, which is their new slogan. So I loved this. I would love a bigger one. If they wanted to do it all PlayStation, I would, of course, love that. If they wanted to just do their own thing with Astro, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, totally.
I love that Astro has become the de facto new
mascot of the PlayStation brand, right? Yeah.
Sony doesn't have a mascot. Like, the only person with a mascot anymore is Nintendo, because you can say Master Chief is the mascot of Xbox, but not really. But Astro straight up is, like, the idea that he is the Sony mascot. He lives in your PlayStation. He's there. Do more things with him. Make Astro bigger. I love Astro.
On your PS5 controller at night.
I want a little Astro to hang out with.
Yeah, that'd be great. Like, give me more Astro for it.
Did you get any games?
Yes, I've bought 3 games so far.
Okay, what you got?
And then plus I've got the Plus collection, so I'm going to hit
of course,
backlog. But I did pre-order a game, and I know I usually say don't do this.
I pre-ordered some games. One we'll talk about today, but that's just because I had the free gift card. But I'm usually against pre-order. But what did you pre-order?
The only reason I pre-ordered this game was because I've seen some of these, like, bundle deals go away, and the cover art was too good to pass up.
Sure, fair enough.
I bought MLB The Show 2022. Okay. Shout out, because they were like, Shohei's the cover, and then they did that, like, amazing art piece where it's like the duality, the dual samurai, basically, where it's like he can pitch and bat, and then also he looks fucking awesome on the cover. I was like, I have to.
Have we talked about your love? Have we talked about your love for Japanese baseball on this podcast?
I don't know, but I am
Chris loves Japanese baseball.
Huge Japanese. I've been watching a game they've started preseason practice games.
Oh yeah.
And I've been watching every game.
There's no American baseball looking so far this season, so, like, I'm gonna watch baseball with you. I've picked a team.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna support the Yokohama DNA Bay Stars, because they are owned by a video game company, and they have Pikachu as a mascot, and their normal mascot is a big giant hamster with a star on his face, so they're definitely going to be the best. And talk about the jerks, the losers that you like.
Oh, the Hawks, the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. That's my team. When I moved to Fukuoka in 2015, we won a championship. We won a championship the next year. We actually lost in 2016.
I thought of another reason why my team's better than yours, because Yakuza Like a Dragon takes place in Yokohama. So
yeah, and I loved that part of it.
Ichiban,
all of the baseball fans
are Bay Stars fans.
Yeah, like all the baseball fans in the game that you can, like, fight and stuff, they're wearing the light blue, like the DNA, like, they're not called the Bay Stars, but
of course.
Oh boy, I love fucking knocking their heads. It was so fun. Like, fuck these guys.
No. So we're gonna watch, and my team's gonna win.
They ain't got suits to go anymore. I'm good.
No, we're good. Okay. So you bought MLB. What else?
I bought the show, but I did buy 2 games. We bought Horizon Forbidden West, because
fantastic. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna spoiler free talk about that a little bit, because I've been playing it in a little bit.
And I am currently 78% of the way through Spider-Man Remastered.
Is that gonna be your first platinum?
It might. because I've done everything.
Did you buy the version that came with the first Spider-Man, or just?
Yeah, I bought the launch version that comes with Miles Morales.
So you're playing. Are you playing Spider-Man, or are you playing Miles Morales?
Yeah, I'm playing Spider-Man.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I know that you're the bigger Miles Morales fan than a Peter Parker fan, but I really do feel. I know we were joking before. You were like, I don't need to play that. You really do need to play the first one for the second one to make sense. Because if you jump into Miles Morales without playing Spider-Man, you will not understand what the fuck is going on, because you will go, this is Miles Morales' story is this, and it's like they don't like
they're not doing that. But they change a lot. They do change.
What?
They change a lot of the things that it's weird, because I know I've talked about this before. I don't know if I've talked about it on the show, but with Miles, there's a lot of things that I really like about that character, and the thing that really sells me about him being a different Spider-Man is that he has a family unit around him.
Yeah.
And for this game's, spoilers, like
okay, we're gonna spoilers. Like we when we talked about Miles Morales on that PS5 episode, you were talking about, I know what's going on, and I was like, no, you don't. Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. Is that Miles Morales' parents are around. In this one, his dad's fucking dead.
Yeah, that's fine.
They needed to do it so that they can make Miles like Peter.
Yeah, that was the one thing, is they really went for like the Spider-Man angle, where it's a lot of Peter kind of taking him under the wing, and I really like despite them kind of changing the home aesthetic and that being something that I really enjoy about his character. They really did kind of like put this really like natural kind of mentor and student kind of
like
thing,
big brother type of thing.
Big brother, yeah, and it feels very nice. I kind of love it. So I don't fault it for the choices that they've made for this game. I mean, there's a couple other things that they do in the game too that I'm kind of like, oh well, this is fine for this take of Spider-Man, and a lot of that stuff it just kind of comes with time with the game. But I'm really enjoying it. I really like everything. I mean, it's very good. I've almost beaten it, and I've done everything. So
I would venture to say I truly, as much as I love some other games on the PS5, I would say that Marvel's Spider-Man, the first one, might be the best open world game of that generation. Mm-hmm. And like, I think I love Horizon more just because I do love that story. But at the same point, there are parts of Horizon Zero Dawn and also of Forbidden West, which we'll talk about in a bit, that are still just like, you could have made this better. Every single part of Marvel's Spider-Man is great. It's the only open world game. It's the only open world game where I don't want to use fast travel. Like in Zero Dawn and in Forbidden West, it's like, oh man, it's all the way over there, and I've got to run through, and there might be random encounters. I don't want to do that. I'm loving the game. I really am loving the new game, but like, there's still parts like I don't want to do this. And also sometimes it's like, oh, there's all these complaints I have when I think about Spider-Man. I was like, I don't have any of those complaints. I love everything. I think it's not my favorite game of that generation, because that is, of course, Persona 5. But if you're asking me to make a top 10 games of the PS4 generation, Spider-Man it's
up there.
Probably number 2.
I mean, with the little time that I've had with, granted, that being just the last 2 days, I really enjoy everything about it.
No, it's number 3. Control is number 2, and then Spider-Man's number 3. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, like
really quick. Top 10 games of the PS4 generation. Wait, I'm going to list them off real quick.
Oh, go for
Persona 5, Control, Marvel's Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn. No, Marvel's Spider-Man, Resident Evil 7, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War. Shit.
Bloodborne.
I need 3 more. I haven't played Bloodborne. I know. I need to. I know.
Yeah.
Shit. Hold on. Okay, hold on. All right, really quick. Top 10 games of the PS4 generation. Okay. This is hard because I can think of more than 10, but I'm going to try to do this. Okay, number 1 is definitely Persona 5. Number 2 is Control. Number 3 is Spider-Man. Number 4 is Resident Evil. Number 5 is actually going to be Horizon Zero Dawn. Then 6 is going to be Yakuza Like a Dragon. 7 is going to be God of War. 8 is going to be Dragon Quest 11. 9 is going to be Ghost of Tsushima. Fuck. And 10 is going to be Death Stranding.
It's a good choice.
That's my top 10 games of that generation. Do you have a quick list?
I don't.
Do you wanna
Final Fantasy 14 for the whole thing.
That doesn't count because that started in PS3. So fuck you.
I honestly, yeah, that's true. I haven't played a lot of the okay, so here's the thing. I kind of missed the boat on the PS4. And I kind of, it's the only console I've bought in God, maybe even 20 years that I kind of feel like I regret.
What? You're stupid. I feel good about this list. I really do. These are like 10 really good games.
With the PS4, that was like, that generation I kind of missed because...
Fuck, but I need to put Days Gone on there. I love Days Gone. Sorry,
Days Gone?
I love Days Gone. Well, Days Gone I love just because it takes place in Oregon. Anyway.
Okay.
Continue your talk.
No, I think I missed the boat because that was when I made the switch. Like, I was fully into the switch of, like, PC gaming.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the third-party games... Like, because I play a lot of, everyone plays the big third-party games, but those all come to PC, and I can control them better there. So I just play them on PC, and then for the couple of games like Bloodborne, I remember being like, that's probably the biggest game of the PS4 that lives in my memory, especially now because I'm buying, I just bought the PS5, and I'm kind of revisiting all these PS4 games that are just better on the PS5. So I kind of feel like I'm playing catch up right now, and it feels really good. Like, I feel like there's a few good games out that I'm like, these are the ones I totally missed, like Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man right now. And
I would say
even God of War that I can play.
The list that I gave, 5 of those games you can play on PC right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that like God of War is on PC, so I'm kind of
6. I forgot about God of War.
Like, it's like, I could just
like the only things on my list you can't play on PC are that I haven't listed are Persona, Spider-Man. No, Horizon's on PC also.
Horizon is on PC, yep.
Is Dragon Quest on PC?
Dragon Quest is on PC.
So the only games I named that is Ghost of Tsushima on PC?
No.
So the only things that I named on that list that aren't on PC are Persona 5, Spider-Man, and Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. And to be completely honest, I really do wish I was playing Spider-Man on PC because
no, you don't. PS5 rules.
It's I don't like some of the controls. I think that
you're not allowed
be more precise on
talk
PC.
Shit on controls on no talking shit on consoles on this podcast under pain of death. I'm very excited for you to have a PS5. Now you can play some sick PS5 games.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get Demon Souls?
I don't know. I've played that game before. I don't know if I need to buy it again.
It's better. Are you gonna get Elden Ring?
See, that is something I keep hearing a lot about, and I'm hearing that it's really, really good. So I don't know if it will be a day one purchase, but it came out
today. But today is day one. It's coming out.
Oh yeah, it is. It is out today, isn't it? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna. I probably won't buy it day one. I'll probably give it a week or two and kind of read reviews and see how people are liking it.
I'm going to do the same thing, but instead of reading reviews, I'm going to read a review from one person who is my friend, Matt Bruce, who is like, when I think of people I know who play Souls games, he's the number one soulist. He's my Soulsy boy. So I'm going to wait and see what Bruce says. And Bruce, if you listen to this, let me know. I'm excited that you got it.
Yeah, But
I'm not. I'm also disappointed that you didn't go see the Uncharted movie for the podcast.
Well, yeah. Well,
I've been very busy. I'm gonna maybe see it this weekend.
Tell me if it's like, I'm very easy to please when it comes to movies, and if it's enjoyable, like if you go and see it and you're like, I'm
going to make an oath that I will see the Uncharted movie this weekend. For you, my friends out there, I will do this for you.
Come back with a full, amazing review, glowing review for Tom Holland's Nathan Drake character.
I wanted to try to beat more of the Uncharted games before I said, but I beat the first one, so I should be good, right?
Yeah.
I know who Sully is. I know who Elena is.
Those are games that I've watched friends play. I've never sat down to play one myself.
I'm excited to play one. So once I'm done with
Do you think Tom Holland kills like scores of people in this movie like he does in the video games?
I hope he's just a sociopathic murderer. Dude, I played that game and it was just like, why am I killing 1,000 people? I looking at it, like the amounts of trophies I got for like numbers, it's like I've killed like 1,000. Why are there 1,000 people on this island? How big was this crew he brought?
Like, I'm playing Spider-Man and I'm thinking that shit already. Like, I'm like, there's no way that Spider-Man didn't kill this person just now.
Spider-Man never kills anyone. Like, if you actually watch, if you like kick somebody off,
they'll get like webbed to the side.
They'll get like webbed to the side. So it's like you never do kill anyone.
There are times where like
you beat the dog shit out of them.
Yeah, like there are times where like I'll stick you, dude, to like a car, and I'm like, your head shouldn't bend that way, sir. I think you need medical help.
There's like finisher moves where you straight up tombstone pile driver guy, and it's like that's a compacted C1 C2. That guy's fucking dead.
And it's like you can make me believe with Ant-Man where it's like, oh yeah, if you know how to punch somebody when you're small, it'll feel like perfect. It'll be the right hit. Spider-Man, I'm like, no, he's just a full dude with a full-size fist coming at you from 200 feet in the air and hit you.
They've explained in the comic that like he holds back because if he hit with his full power, he'd like punch
obliterate somebody. Yeah.
I was gonna say that after Forbidden West, I've got a little action to do, which we'll get here to a second in the Platinum Report.
Oh shit.
I've got some ideas for what I'm going to play next, but let's just get into it. Let's get into the Platinum Report. Friends, we've earned 20 new Platinums since last episode. We're sitting at level 943, 1,046 overall trophies, very close to that 1,050 milestone, which I'm going to try and make Horizon Forbidden West. So, Platinums that we've earned since last time. Get ready for some garbage. First of all, we've got High School Romance McGee Trials for PS4 and PS5. That is I've been playing, there's this company that puts out these like shitty visual novel like dating games, and they're all really easy. Like I don't really read them. I've talked about things in the past that I've gotten from this company that like Starlight Shores, and I'm pretty sure they made the soccer games, and I've just realized they're all like teenage lesbian games. Like every single one. This is a company that specifically makes.
See, you said lesbian games, and I'm like, hell yeah! But the operative word being teenage, I'm like,
teenage. Maybe I'm like missing a line where it's like, no, they're 18, or this girl's 1,000 years old. But I'm like, hey,
probably
you know
Japan,
what?
Like high school.
No. They are 100% American made.
Oh no.
Now,
okay, that's
please, like, I'm not coming down on the lesbian part, which I know you say that you get canceled. I don't think these people are over the age of 18. I've noticed, here's the thing. Most of these games, you just press R1 to skip, and then you have to pick the specific things. So I just find the thing that says that, and I don't pay attention. But I was looking at this one, and there's a lot of girls kissing, but I went, wait a second, isn't this like a high school? And I went back, and there was that other one I did that was the Starlight Shores from the last episode, and that was a bunch of teenagers on a beach. Once again.
Are there titties in this game?
No, I mean, like, you don't see nip, but like they're drawn. Oof. Now, here's the thing. I say that and I'm like, I need more research. So I played another game called Blackberry Honey for the PS4 and PS5. It's the same fucking thing. It's all teenage girls kissing.
Huh. Hey, I'm all down for
listen, girls
kissing.
Anyone can listen. Listen, true love is real for all who kiss. But I think they're making teenagers, and I don't know. They're easy platinums, so that's all that matters to me. Guess what else I platinum? Speaking about easy platinums, that's right. We got the PS5 version of My Friend Peppa Pig.
Oh, it's about time.
I bought the game again.
No,
I couldn't take it back from my niece.
I was hoping you were like,
I couldn't take it back from my niece, so I bought another copy.
Game flying this or something.
No, I bought it for $30. I bought it for $30.
Oh,
it's funny to me. We also got the platinums for Nape Retroverse Collection on PS4 and PS5, which is, I don't know what it's like the easiest fucking, like, they're trying to sell it off as like, look, it's retro games from the 80s. Like, no, you made these now and they suck. Each one took me like 2 minutes. What else we got? We got Alice Madness Returns. That's the game we're talking about today. We got Telling Lies on the PS4. That is a full motion video game, much like Her Story, where the idea is that you're on a database looking up videos to try and find a story. However, I just found a list of all the things to type in so that you get all the videos. So, but I bought that because there was a lot of these games I bought because there was a big sale. Okay, that's why I got these. I got Taco Tan on PS5. That's a game that I've platinumed on PS4, Vita, the Vita Special Edition, and now PS5. So that's the fourth time I played that game. That is a shmup where you're an octopus who fights aliens. We got Donut Run on PS4 and PS5. Those each took a minute. We got Space Robinson, which is a shitty little, like, someone trying to make like a little roguelite thing, except there's the code to live forever. We had to talk to our friends at
of course,
Breakthrough Christian Gaming. 3 new games from them this week. We got Zippy the Circle Challenge 8C, 9C, and 10C, and Zippy the Circle Challenge levels 11C, 12C, and 13C, plus the return of Bowling Story 3 Mark version. Project Summer Ice. We also got the platinum in Majors and Treasures on the PS4 and PS5, which is a reskinning of a game I got a long time ago called like Super Milo Remake or whatever.
Like it's that weird creepy thing that Microsoft showed off? Milo?
Shut up. We also did go back to the Break series with St. Patrick's Day Break 2, and then Platinum today, the 20th one. Do you remember the Pig D and the sheep P or whatever? The ones where I was telling you just hold. They got a new one, baby. The Chick C. You get eggs. It took me 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Cost me $1.50. There's a PS5 version of that. I was saving it for tomorrow so I can. Once again, we are still on the streak. If you have not heard before, the streak is, let me see how many days of the streak I'm at. The streak is that there's a site called True Trophies, which is popular, but not as popular as PSN Profiles, which is the one I use. The one feature that they have that PSN Profiles doesn't have is they have a way to show you how many days in a row you've earned a trophy. So, like, you can see, like, what kind of a streak you're on.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of genius. I do kind of love that.
It is cool. I wish they would put it on the other side. I'm now on my longest streak of all time. My longest streak before this was 60 days. I'm now on a 64-day streak.
Oh, shit.
I've gotten at least 1 trophy a day since the 22nd of December. My goal is to make it the entire year getting at least 1 trophy a day. Not 1 platinum, just 1 trophy.
Right.
Because, like, there'll be days where it's like I platinum a couple of games, or there's like yesterday where I only got 2 trophies, and they were both in Horizon Forbidden West, which I've been playing, which is where I'd like to really quickly talk about. But I did want to say, we're coming up on 2 milestones. Okay. Milestones, if you don't know, on the PSN Profile site are big, like big numbers that you hit. Platinum trophy number 1050 is coming up. That's in 4. I'm definitely going to try and make that Horizon. But the other big thing is trophy overall number 30,000.
Oh my god!
I found a trophy that I want to be number 30,000. I bought a copy of Tony Hawk Ride on the PS3, the Tony Hawk game that uses the fucking
the board,
like, motion control board, because there's a trophy for doing 5 spine transfers on a map called Certified Chiropractor.
Oh, there you go.
So I want that to be number 30,000. That's what I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of Horizon Forbidden West, and I'd like to do a quick spoiler-free talk about it.
Yeah.
Unless you want to talk about what you've been playing first.
Oh, yeah. Very quickly, there's actually just like one game that I really... Because, I mean, outside of Spider-Man, which...
You know what you haven't been playing a lot is Final Fantasy XIV, which I signed up to play with you, and then...
Here's the thing. If you ever message me and say, hey, Final Fantasy, instantly I'm on.
That's true. It's mostly because I was playing Alice and then straight into her. Once Horizon's done, I'll probably be more. But yeah, what have you been playing other than Spider-Man?
Yeah, I've been playing a game called Creatures of Aether, which is like I don't know if you've heard of Rivals of Aether. It's like
I was gonna say, is that like Rivals? Is that like Rivals of Aether?
Yeah, it's set in that Aetherverse or whatever they're calling it, because they apparently have a lot more than just these 2 games out. Apparently, there's like a whole series of Aether games, and not only that, if I remember correctly, I think Matt Herms. Sorry, wrong guy. Ian Flynn, who used to write Sonic for Archie, and he started IDW, and he's still the overseer of IDW's book, but he's not the main writer anymore for it.
Is that the guy that everybody hates because he's like,
that's Ken Penders.
Why does everybody hate Ken Penders again?
Because he sucks. He actually just tweeted something today that was like, I know I'm gonna, at the cost of the Chinese market, I can't say something bad about like my Taiwan fan or whatever. The girl that he was talking about, like some picture that he came and saw her at some convention in Taiwan, I guess, and she was like, "Oh yeah, like I can't wait for your, Julie Sue book or whatever it's called, Laura Sue," and then he tweeted this old picture of her and was like, I'm for the Taiwan people, and it's like, okay, that's fine. That girl though then tweeted, she's like, I'm not Taiwanese. I was living there because my dad took a job there. Cool. I'm Filipino. And they're like, oh god, it just like spiraled. He's just a piece of shit. He just sucks. But I'm gonna be on this guy's side.
No, he ruined Sonic. I love this guy.
He ruined Sonic. But Ian Flynn.
What do you think about Team Sonic Racing being the free game for PS4 next month?
Oh, I like it. It's a good game. It does different stuff too, which I like. For a racing game, it feels like a racing, I wouldn't say simulator, but it simulates how like NASCAR works, where it's like you have to work as a team. It's not just individual racers, it's
should
like
I platinum that game? You have to like beat the entire game on hard and expert.
I mean, I could probably do that because I've played a lot of those Sonic racing games, and I think if you get good enough, you could definitely do it. But I don't know if I would suggest the platinum, just because it can get a little rough. I mean, it's Mario Kart, but just without the auto win shell.
We'll talk about it later. Anyway, go ahead.
Ian Flynn, I think, is writing all of this Aetherverse. Like, they're gearing up to do something big with it, and he's going to be the writer for it. So I'm kind of interested in what they're doing. But the game that I've been playing, Creatures of Aether, is like they took Triple Triad and Tetramaster from Final Fantasy 8 and 9, and they've kind of made it their version of it. And I'm kind of in love with it. It's just like an easy, card game that you can play it on Steam, but it also works on your phone and it cross saves. So I just boot up my phone and I start playing, a little bit here and there, and I'm loving it.
If you like Triple Triad games, you might want to check out this game called Horizon Forbidden West.
Did they put a card game in it?
They didn't put a card game. They put a miniatures game. Called Machine Strike.
Okay.
Where you get little pieces that are the different type of robots, and you go and find these people in the wild, like Triple Triad, and the boards. It's what you do is like everybody has like a movement and a how much they hit for and their range and everything, and like special abilities, and then depending on what, like, basically all the maps are, the higher ground you are, the more attack you have.
Interesting.
And so the rules are that
of WoW miniatures a little bit.
You get 2 moves. You can move 2 robots a turn, or when you move one, you can overcharge a robot, which is you can give it -2 HP. Like you can make it take 2 hits to move or attack again.
This sounds
the winner is the first person to kill 7 victory points worth of robots on the other side. You have 10 victory points worth of robots. So you have, and it's
It's kind of neat. Does it feel like something they might be testing the waters for like maybe a bigger release? On
Absolutely not. I feel like they made it just to be fun.
Really cool. I like that too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Huh.
Anyway, okay. Creature of Aether. Good job. Anyway, I want to talk about Forbidden West.
Fucking how is it?
Absolutely. I'm going to preface this right now so nobody gets worried. No spoilers. This is a spoiler-free review. It's great. I have 1 or 2 small complaints about the game, but it seems to be what everyone's talking about, which is the biggest problem I'm having right now, and it feels like something they will patch, is that sometimes, you watched Suit play it, but so I don't know if you've talked about this, but there's a lot of parkour in the game of like jumping on ledges, and it's in in Horizon Zero Dawn, it was pretty smart of you would just like all you had to do was aim and it would climb. In this one, there does seem to be a bug where sometimes I'll be climbing and like I'll try to jump to the left and she'll just jump into nothing.
Like the pathfinding is kind of broken a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, or like I need to jump across this ledge, and I'll instead of making the jump across, I'll just jump up and then fall down.
Yeah, that is a very similar complaint that I have with Spider-Man. It's just that there are times where I'm just like, why did the character model just choose to go this way, especially like on where you're trying to chase like drones and stuff?
Yeah,
it will always prioritize something that looks cool versus the practicality of you actually getting from point A to point B in a fast manner.
I feel like that's something hopefully they will patch in this game, because other than that, the biggest thing, like video game wise, is that they've put a bigger emphasis on the spear. Like in the first game, there was a skill tree, but the skill tree was very simple. There were 5 trees and it was just one skill to one skill. They were straight lines. In this, they look like the only way I can explain is they look like dream catchers. So it's like you pick a node and then that leads you down a path. So there's there's like different categories. There's like the warrior category, which is all melee. There's the hunter, which is range. There's the stealth one. There's the one about traps. There's the one about taking over machines. And there's one about like survival, and, like more health and shit like that. And it's all node based. So it's just like, okay, you get the first one and then it goes right or left. It's like, do you want this power or this power? And then that leads to other powers and they merge. And there's things where it's like, if you can get,
so it's kind of like the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Except it's a bunch of little mini sphere grids that don't connect. And then they got these new things called like Valor. They're called like Valor Bursts. No, I unfortunately can't steal this Valor. No, you got these things called Valor Bursts, which is on each, there's 2 on each skill tree. It's like they've got 3 relevant skills. If you get those, you unlock this Valor thing. And it's as you fight, you can build up your Valor meter, and then you can press R1 to like use it. So it's like there's one where it's like you can go invisible. There's one where you can drink a potion to get a bunch of health back. There's one where you can do power shots that knock dudes down, narc them down, shit like that. They also included a new thing called like weapon stamina. So do you remember the first game you used to be able to like triple knock arrows if you got good enough bows?
Yeah.
Now it's like there's 8 types of different weapons, and there's 3 different skills for each one that you can unlock on these trees that are like special abilities with R1 when you're aiming that do different shit, and they cost a stamina bar. So it's like the triple knock arrows now is exclusive to hunter bows. But you can use that, or you can do a thing where you fire a volley, like you aim up and fire a bunch of arrows in like a volley. Or you can do the one that I will switch between with that one, because they're easy to switch between when you're in your weapon wheel for ammo. You can just press over on the D-pad, and you can switch between whatever you've unlocked. So it's not like you're equipped. You have them all at all times, which is nice. But it's like the one that I've been using is you have this knockdown shot where you have to use you have to use up 3 arrows, but you just this big shot, and if you hit them right, you can knock them down, and they can go in for a critical strike. That's pretty cool. The one thing I don't like that they did with weapons is in the original game there were different type of weapons, and the only difference in like the normal, the uncommon, and the rare was stat based and how many coils you had. Those were like the unlocked things. Now the weapons are still in the different categories, but different weapons have different ammo. So it's like, I found a cool bow. Oh, but this one only shoots ice arrows and fire arrows. It doesn't shoot. So it ends up you're like, I've got to have different weapons for different things. Right. I didn't like that so much until I have gotten some really good weapons. They have also made the upgrade pass.
Do you have to carry ammo? Like, do you have to carry like different packets of ammo? Oh, yeah. God. Okay.
But you have different ammo pouches for each of the different type of weapons. So it's like you've got your hunter quiver, but even if your bow doesn't have like purge water arrows, that quiver has a spot for every type of arrow, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, is if inventory is limited.
No, inventory is not limited by your weapons. Perfect. It's very easy. The thing that they've done also that is just a little too much is that, so in the first one, the upgrading of a weapon, or there was no upgrading a weapon. You would just buy a weapon, and then if you wanted a better one, you'd have to go out and find the better one. Now, whenever you get a weapon, it's got an upgrade path to unlock more stuff and unlock slots. Same with the items. They've made it, because of that, you need more shit, and so it is a little bit more of a grind. Mm-hmm. Which you can say, or some people like that. I have gotten to a point where it's like, you've given me too much of a shopping list, because the pouches, which is the important part, your ammo and everything, is all based on not the robots, but on the fucking like birds and fish and animals. And that shit is hard to find. Like, I need to find
ridiculous
because they're small, they don't spawn as often, and it's random drops.
Yeah.
So it's like I've still got some pretty. I'm almost at the end of the game. I'm in some end level gear, but I've still got only so many arrows because I can't be fucked around to try and find 2 owl wishbones and a fucking iridescent lobster shell, and it's just like,
yeah, that's just in there so that you can sit in the game longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still though, like, these are my gripes. What they do with the story is fucking bonkers in the best way possible.
Yeah. That's exciting to hear because I know that you really like the first one.
Okay, can I tell you something, but don't put this in the podcast? Just like bleep this part out.
Yeah.
Are you going to care about spoilers to this game? Okay, the plot of this game.
What the fuck?
It's great.
Interesting. Okay, I was really interested in like where they were going to go with it because after that first one, I was kind of like, well, it's kind of wrapped up in a neat little bow.
No.
It is. Oh my god! It is.
Don't put any of this in. Don't put any of this in.
Oh my god! I can't
All right, welcome
believe that
back.
they put Goku in that game.
Yeah, they put Goku in that game. Did they just hear like 10 seconds of uninterrupted bleeping, basically?
Yeah.
So I'm having a real fun with that game. I feel like I will definitely have it done by this weekend, and then I'll get 2 platinums out of it because I'm playing the PS4 version so that I can auto pop the PS5.
How is the PS4 version then?
It's
like
fine.
Loading and stuff.
No. So the loading is like it's still super quick. I know if I was playing the PS5 version, it would be like instantaneous, but we're talking like if I need to load something, it's like 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's not too
like
bad.
It's not bad. No.
They've learned how to optimize that system.
Oh yeah. So I'm very excited. We're gonna pop that, and man, what a great game! And then maybe Elden Ring. We'll see. But I think the next game that I'm like really excited for is next month is Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh, is that coming out?
That's in March.
I totally missed out on that. Like,
I have that game pre-ordered through Amazon because of that gift card. So I'm excited.
There is a game in March there are 2 games in March that I'm really.
What do you got going in March?
Both of them happen to be Final Fantasy games. I am really looking forward to that.
Stranger of Paradise.
Stranger of Paradise.
I have that pre-ordered also.
Have you heard the?
I know nothing about it, and I don't wanna.
Oh, okay. There's some crazy theories going on about it, and I.
Yeah, no. I don't. My only thing I know is that I think that it's a retelling of like Final Fantasy 1. Yeah. So
if you've seen anything from it, you're going to be like, huh? Oh, isn't that? Isn't
the idea that the main guy is Garland?
Yeah, that's something they've come out and they were like, yeah, you kind of figured that out. Like, yeah, okay. he is Garland. That's the motif that they keep saying is that it's based on Final Fantasy 1.
So it's him becoming Chaos.
Yeah, but there's some other stuff. Other images that they've shown.
If you told me, do you think it would ruin the game for me?
No, I don't know. It's Kingdom Hearts Tetsuya Nomura bullshit.
All right, yeah, good note. I want to know it. Go ahead. All right, tell me.
And this this is a 10 hat foil, fucking.
You might listen, theory, people at home. You might want to skip ahead.
You might, yeah. I'll even punch.
There's going to be a spoiler thing, and Chris is going to. They're going to say when to come back.
Hey guys, this is your potential spoiler warning for Stranger of Paradise: Final Fantasy Origins. Again, it's a 10 foil hat theory that I and many other people in the Final Fantasy community do kind of hold right now. But if it ends up playing that way, I don't want to spoil anything, as this game has yet to be released. Skip to 46 minutes and 6 seconds to avoid spoilers. Also, I want to go on ahead and throw up a trigger warning just in case, because the game we are talking about today is Alice Madness Returns. If that is something you have not played, it is a game that does heavily deal with sexual assault and abuse. So if that is a trigger for you, just know that we do lightly mention the theme of the game. We don't really talk about it. We mostly talk about gameplay for the whole rest of the episode. So just want light trigger warning for everyone and potential spoiler warning. Hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Yeah. Okay. So apparently it might actually be the origins of all Final Fantasies, because there are screenshots and there are demo, like the second demo and stuff of areas that you're like, oh, this is like this place in Final Fantasy V. Oh, this is the place in Final Fantasy VI. Hey, this is the petrified forest of Final Fantasy IX. And it's kind of, and then there's even, this is just Sastasha from Final Fantasy XIV.
You
like,
think that they're
same
just
place.
Straight up trying to make the Final Fantasy verse?
I think they are. Because
they've kind of done that with like Dissidia, so like it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Point is that if you follow the Dissidia games, those games are trying to be the thing that branches them all together, like brings them in together. And at the end of the last one, it talks about like, hey, keep chaos alive this long, and so that we can destroy it and go back and reset the time loop that is supposed to be Final Fantasy 1. But for that to happen, you would have to have all these crazy things to whatever, and it just kind of it's starting to look like that this game is going to be that, because there's even one area that is the Xylart fucking like temple from Final Fantasy 11, and people are like, okay, look, I could get that all of these are kind of like similar to all these other Final Fantasies. That's the Xylart place. That is absolutely just Final Fantasy 11 in this game. So if this isn't that, then it's kind of like, I don't know what it is, because it kind of feels like it could be the game that branches Dissidia to Final Fantasy 1 to start this multiverse of Final Fantasies, which could then also lead to the idea of why 16 is kind of being like, hey, we're done with crystals. Like, fuck the crystal. Let's move on. You know, it's like, I kind of wonder if 16 will be like if Final Fantasy Origins is kind of like, oh, we're putting a stamp on the first 15. Now we're going to start some new lore and some new stuff and kind of really do some new stuff with 16. It just kind of feels like we're all kind of like, if you want how Final Fantasies used to feel, you're going to play Division 3 games, which are led by Yoshi P. That's going to be Final Fantasy 16 going on. If you want what Kingdom Hearts is and that kind of nonsense of how like Final Fantasy 7 Remake has been, and some of Tetsuya Nomura's stuff, yeah, play Division 1 games, which are, you know.
So wait, if that's Division 3 and Division 1, what's Division 2?
Dragon Quest, I believe.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I think Division 4 is Dragon Quest. I think Division 2 is Kingdom Hearts. I could have that backwards though, but I think it's Kingdom Hearts.
You just said Division 1 was Kingdom Hearts.
Division 1 is it used to be called Mainline Final Fantasy.
Okay. This is all confusing.
Yeah,
but I'm excited.
It sounds cool.
I'm going to play Stranger Paradise. I'm going to play Ghostwire Tokyo, and maybe I'll play Elden Ring. It's a good time. Hey, the video games are here. Guys.
Yes, they are.
Sound the video game alarm, Chris.
Boo. Oh, I'll get something for this.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's going. Listen to it. Oh my gosh.
I can hear it. Okay. Should we get into today's episode?
Yeah, let's bounce into it.
Welcome to the first episode of what I'm calling Dr. Ryan's Year of Weird, which is I want to go out there and just play some shit that people don't know about. And so I picked a game that I've always been curious about, and it's really two games, but it's mostly one game. I feel like we're not going to talk much about the game, but about gameplay. What it kind of like the gameplay and the story in the second one is definitely we can talk about a little bit because it's got some story, but it's I want to talk about this game and then I want to branch about some other stuff, but we're talking about American McGee's Alice Madness Returns, which comes with a copy of American McGee's Alice on PS3. So we're going to talk about both of them. Really quickly, what's your history with these games? I had never even seen what they look like before I started playing them. I only knew the name American McGee, which is a crazy name, and I knew that it was just like the box art of, oh, I'm Alice and I've got a knife. Yeah,
it's so growing up, I was an edgy little teenager, and this
not surprising.
Yeah, this was this was the game, right? So I remember growing up, and this game. What did this game come out like? 2001, somewhere in like early turn of the millennium. The first game, because it was like a PC game, and that was always like something that was interesting to me because.
Hold on, I got it right here. The first game came out December 6th, 2000.
2000. Okay, so yeah, basically 2000, 2001. Yeah, that was a game that like because I think I learned about it in 2002 because that was when like I would, you go over to your friend's house, have sleepover, whatever. Like I didn't really have a dedicated like my own computer until like maybe 2003, 2004, like getting closer into high school. So like I would go over to my friend's house and they'd be like, "Oh man, have you heard of this game called American McGee Alice? It's like Alice, but it's all dark and fucked up." And it's like, "All right, cool, like get in." And then just that being that like world of like getting into those dark fairy tales, like anything by Tim Burton, like his movies, or like fucking Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh my god, why did I just Coraline is one of my favorite fucking movies of all time.
He didn't
like,
make Coraline, but okay.
I know, that was a fucking other guy. I'm saying more like those dark
Studio Leica from Portland, Oregon. I was living there when that movie came out, and everyone was like, "This movie's from Portland."
Portland rules. We gotta see this movie. No, yeah, it was just I that was when I started getting into those like darker fairy tales, and this was the fucking game that you could play of it.
I want to really quickly say I fucking love Alice in Wonderland. I love because it comes from the D&D. D&D comes from this when I'm talking about this, but like the original Alice in Wonderland is kind of the beginning of basically the Fey realm of Feywilds. Anytime it's like this is a weird fucking like. Rules don't make sense type of area. And when it goes dark, it can be good, but sometimes it goes dark and it sucks. Case in point, Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. Also, in a way, is not Alice in Wonderland the first isekai?
It kind of
is Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe the first isekai?
Which one came out first?
I don't know.
Question.
The rabbit or the lion? Alice in Wonderland is 1865.
Right?
Yeah, because I have a feeling that like Narnia was happening when World War II was happening.
Was it?
So yeah.
Oh,
the whole idea of the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is they're sent off to the kids are sent off to the country so that they don't get bombed by Hitler.
Right.
So Alice in Wonderland is from the 1800s, so it's absolutely first. So that's the first isekai, which people talk shit on isekai a lot when it comes to like anime stories.
Like I love isekai.
It can rule, but can also suck shit.
Oh yeah, like because it becomes the ultimate fanfic at that point, especially whenever it's self-insert character.
Yeah, when isekai is I'm here and I'm the best and all the girls like me or all the boys like me and I'm the chosen one, it sucks. When it's just like, what the fuck is going on? I'm fucked. It's great.
I think that might be why I like Dot Hack so much, is because it's fucked. Like you're not, well, I mean, you are the one, but like everything sucks for you and the people around you. Like it's more of a mystery too, but
see, my favorite is it's a manga. It's also a live action show. I don't think it ever got an anime based on Alice in Wonderland called Alice in Borderland.
I feel like I've seen this, but I don't think I've ever ingested it before.
There's one season on Netflix, but I read the actual manga. The whole idea is that it's like mixing Alice in Wonderland with Saw.
Oh,
so, I'm gonna love it because I love Deadly Games and why are they being played the series. But anyway, so American McGee's Alice, which came out in 2000. I played this and I want to say straight up, this game sucks.
No,
it probably was great back in 2000.
I think
but this game, this game controls like absolute dog shit.
It doesn't control the best. Yes, it definitely feels like we're still. It's kind of one thing I love about it though. It's one of the platformers of that era that I still think like. I wouldn't say it holds up like as well as even its sequel, but I do think it does. Capture that feeling of what games felt like in 2001. And
yeah, sure.
Like
it does.
Everything feels like you're on it feels like you're on a skateboard that is omnidirectional and you're just like sliding side to side.
And that's the problem. They've made a game where it's like, here's the thing. Here are these moving platforms that are small. You can jump on them, but everything's made out of ice is how it feels. The story of these games, really quick, at the beginning, it posits that Wonderland isn't. I do like this. Wonderland's not real.
Right.
Wonderland. There's a girl named Alice Little who has dreams of Wonderland, And then her house fucking burns down, and she's the only one that gets out. And her mom and her dad and her daughter, her sister, fucking burn to death and die.
Yeah.
And they throw her in a fucking insane asylum.
Yeah.
And she's there for years because she's just catatonic.
Yeah, she's traumatized.
Oh, yeah. So is this what fucking Sucker Punch is about?
A little bit.
That shit-ass Zack, whatever his name movie?
No, there is somebody.
Zack Snyder made that movie Sucker Punch about all those girls in an insane asylum who have like superpowers if they like go into their delusions, and that's what this seems like.
There is somebody who we are both close to who's a huge fan of that movie.
Okay, I don't know who you are. You have bad taste. I've seen part of that movie at a party in Austin, Texas, and that movie was dog shit. Who is that? Who is that person? Was it your wife?
It is my wife.
Okay, Soup.
That's one of her favorite movies of all time.
Soup, you suck.
We're calling you out.
That movie sucks. Anyway, so she is for years just held up in this room until one day she sees the fucking white rabbit and goes back into Wonderland, which is all 100% in her brain. And the story of this game is I got to take out the queen. The queen's bad. Other than that, there is no story to this game.
Yeah, it's piecing your memories back together and like
it's not even piecing your memories back together. That's the next game.
I'm sorry. I thought we were jumping.
Yeah. No. We're talking about the first game.
Yes,
Once you start the first game, then it's just I got to get to Wonderland. That's it. It is a very, very like easy game. It is, with the exception of one part that's like a maze. It is all linear. It controls like dog shit.
It doesn't control. It's dog shit in just that it's an old game. It's not terrible if you were to boot it up today. Like you just have to go in with the goggles of like, this isn't going to control as smoothly as anything you're playing today. Yeah, it feels like a game from 2001. I
want to say there's like 8 or 10 levels, and they each have like sub levels. They're not that hard. It took me a couple days of just playing it after work every night. But it's not what I would call fun. It's definitely weird and like, you know, it's kind of cool. All her weapons are like toys that have become evil. So like her first weapon is a kitchen knife, but it's the Vorpal blade. And then she gets like some cards that you can throw. You get the fucking croquet mallet that can also like has a secondary fire mode to throw out a ball, which is pretty nice. The weapon in that game is they've got these auto seeking jacks that you throw out and they just attack for you. But I put the whole game on easy just because there's trophies for this game as DLC, but there's no platinum. It is literally just beat the game. Like there's only like 6 trophies, and it's just one for every other final level. I'll say the one cool thing about like this game is there is a chess themed world where you have to solve chess puzzles. Mm-hmm. Like you have to take a piece. One of them is a bishop, and one of them is a knight, and you have to make it through like a trap filled area, but you have to. You can, as the bishop, you can only move in diagonals, and as the knight, you have to move in L's. So that was fun.
Yeah.
There's a boss in this game, the Jabberwock, that is fucking infuriating. Because this fucker flies above you and does nothing but set you on fire. When you're on fire, you lose control of your character and have to run around a little bit, and then he just auto sets you on fire again. And he moves faster than you can fucking target because you can't throw your auto jacks at him. So you have to use like this. They give you like his eye staff, which is like a big laser beam weapon, but he moves faster than it fucking goes, and you run out of ammo too quick. And then the end of the game, like the only thing that's like story wise is you're the Queen of Hearts.
Yeah,
the Queen of Hearts is you, and she's like, I'm the part of you that's the survivor's guilt. She didn't say this, but you know, it's the part of you that died, and we're the same, and blah blah blah. And then she becomes like a big giant Cthulhu monster, and you just laser her in the eyeball, and she dies. And then you wake up, and you can leave the asylum. I think that you are looking through rose-colored glasses of your youth, and I think that
may be. I mean, I don't know. I was playing a little bit of it this weekend, and
there are better games from the year 2000. There are better controlling games from the year 2000.
Sure, but I feel like
this does not control well.
This is a game that I even remember back then playing it and just being like, you know, because at that time I think I was 12 when I first played the game. And it was just like, oh man, you run around as Alice and you cut people's heads off and there's blood everywhere. And it's like,
I'm gonna name
cool.
some games.
Like,
I'm gonna name some games that came out in 2000 that control infinitely better than this game. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
That's skateboarding. Give me a platformer. What's a better platformer?
The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
Okay. That game does control better. I'll give you
Marvel's Spider-Man.
You know what? I'm willing to. I think
Jet
that's probably
Set
Justice
Radio.
Oh, okay, that does control.
Spyro Year of the Dragon. That game controls great.
It controls better, yeah.
That's the third Spyro. What else? That's kind of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but that doesn't really count.
Yeah, it's a fighting game.
Final Fantasy 9. Oh, here's what came out. Here's a platformer that came out that year that controls infinitely better. Banjo-Tooie.
Ooh, yeah.
So I feel like this. Also, Little Nicky for Game Boy Color came out that year. Now that I know that exists, I need to own a copy of that. And also, The Emperor's New Groove on PlayStation. Yep, gonna need that.
Do you have Jackie Chan. Austin Powers Game Boy games, like the
fuck off. Those aren't games.
To My Lair.
Those are not games. I've seen what those are. Those are like fucking Apple Newton. Do you remember their first like little touchscreen? Those are like fucking games meant for like little day planners for children. So fuck those games. Jackie Chan Stuntmaster also came out that year. That's a great fucking game. Okay, anyway, yeah. I don't think this game controls well. And unless you're playing this game on the PS3 for trophies, I would definitely never say if you do not pick this game up. This is a bad game. We're gonna rate this game. We're gonna rate this game away from Madness Returns, and I'm giving this no trophies. This game sucks.
No, I give it.
Be realistic. Don't be nostalgic.
I think.
Don't be nostalgic.
I'd give it a silver. I think it's totally worth. I think it's definitely a game that is worth if you are digging into the year of 2000, video games.
This is not a game that you should play.
I think
there are way better games. Play any other game I mentioned.
It's even a game that when we were playing it as a kid that we were because even then he was like, I want to make another one and it's gonna be this grand crazy game. And we're like, that fucking thing is never coming out. But proved wrong. Came out. It was bigger and better, and but I still think that you don't get there unless you have this. And if you're trying to revisit the history of games of that era, I do think you would throw this in that list. I think it's down the list, but I think it's worth the look.
I think you could absolutely play Alice Madness Returns without ever playing Alice. I think they could have made Alice Madness Returns without ever making Alice, and it would make sense because nothing happens in that game that matters for the next game.
Sure.
But that being said, this is the episode we're talking about because this actually has a story and gameplay that I want to talk about. We're talking about Alice Madness Returns. Mm-hmm. This game came out in 2011. That is 5 years into the PS3, Xbox 360 cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I like this game, this feels like a lost game from the PS2
era, right?
That absolutely feels like it should have come out around the same time as Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper,
that's because where he was getting ready to make the game, that was that era. That was PS2 era. So it's very funny to look at this game even now in 2022. It feels like such a PS2 game, but it looks like a PS3 game. The graphics are fine and good, and they're definitely not dated when it comes to that. But it's the gameplay of this game is so PS2 era. Yeah.
Because the gameplay of this game, we'll talk about the story in a second, but the gameplay is once again incredibly linear. It's entirely linear, and it's go down the path, solve a puzzle, which the puzzle is how do I get from here to here? And then when I get there, it's an arena for enemies.
Yep.
Then I kill those enemies and I go on to the next arena.
And not only that, but everything controls a game from that era, very Ocarina of Time, Z target your enemies and run up and slash them, and then you hit them 3 times, and then you let them move, and then you hit them again and finish them. It feels like a game from fucking 2000.
It's also the controls of this game are fucking wacky, and I wish I could re-put them because you have a dodge button, which is you turn into butterflies and dodge, and it's very good for getting around the arena, but it's on R2.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird place to put a button like that.
You have L1 is your Z target, L2 lets you shrink and grow at whims to solve puzzles. R1 is how you fire your range weapons, and then X is jump, and square is how you swing your light melee weapon, and triangle is your heavy melee weapon. So it's like this weird thing of, you would expect, and I fell into this all the time, circle should be how I dodge. Circle is the dodge button, right?
That's the dodge.
No, it's R2, which is the attack button. And it's just like everything is off. I get used to it after a while, but it's definitely like, you can tell this is a weird era.
Yeah.
But
and
we're
I
gonna talk about this.
that was the PS2 though. Like there were all these licensed games that played very similar to each other. It played like this game even, and it's like you may have nostalgia for weird PS2 era licensed games and stuff. That's totally cool. Like I am one of those people. But you have to agree with me when I say no one understood how to use the controller appropriately. Nope. No,
that's the thing. By the time the PS3 had come out, these had been solved. By 2011, this was solved.
The wheel,
we figured
like
out
the weapon wheel and stuff. Like it's
the
so
weapon wheel, and this is the controls.
Right.
And this is a game that, once again, it seems like American McGee started making. I'd love to see. Maybe it says here when he started making it. He started making it in 2009, which is still 3 years into the fucking cycle. So it's just like,
I mean,
you made a game that was on
title, it would make sense because you could be like, oh, well, it's all reused, like kind of at the end of that era. Like it still kind of feels like that transitional period. No, this is like, what other games were coming? That was like Call of Duty would have already hit its big thing. Like there are so many games that had come out by then. Was Mario Galaxy out then? Wasn't that 2000?
Some other big games of 2011 when this game came out that had definitely like solved the problem of what you're supposed to do with these controls. Saints Row the Third, Uncharted 3, Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, Arkham City.
Arkham City, like that's a good example because I feel like that is a kind of a linear action adventure game.
Yeah,
that could plays very similarly.
God of War 3, like there's a bunch of games that had figured out these controls and looked better. And like once again, I like this game. Super Mario 3D Land came out that year. This is I still do talk, like I'm going to talk positively about this game, but it's just like it's 2011 and my man American McGee is making the best game of 2005.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
he's just ahead of his like.
He's not ahead. He's very behind.
He's ahead of being behind his time.
He moved. That guy moved to China to make this game, and I feel like he was making games thinking like, yeah, I'm in China. It's 2011, which means at that point it's 2004, and I'm going to make these games. Okay, so the plot of this game barely talks about the first game, but basically the idea of the first game is that she thought that she caused the fire. That's why they explain why she's in a catatonic state, is that she thought she caused the fire. And so this game takes place both in Wonderland and out of it. But once again, it composits that Wonderland is part of her psyche. It is not real. It is 100% a psychotic break, which is kind of cool. I like that. It's, because in other Alice in Wonderland stuff, it's like, Wonderland is real and she can go there. It's like, no, Wonderland's not real. And this time she knows it. Like, Wonderland is her way to retreat and, like, repair mentally. But basically, you are now an older Alice who lives in, like, the shitty part of London and is just kind of trying to survive. And she's talking to her therapist, Dr. Bumby, who is trying to help her get past the trauma. And he's like, we need to hypnotize you and we need to get through this. And she's trying to be like, okay, I'm going to go through therapy and we're going to get it, but I'm still getting these Wonderland hallucinations. Why am I still doing that? So that's the premise of the game, is that it's your therapist is trying to help you understand why you're still seeing Wonderland.
Right.
So the first thing you do is you go on this errand for this fucking bitch old lady who's like, I heard you talk once that you said it's all your fault, so now you have to pay me money or I'm going to tell the cops. And like that makes her go through a break where she goes back to Wonderland. And that's what the premise of this game is it's interstitials of being in London, going to Wonderland, coming out and learning something about the game, coming in, coming out. There's 6 levels, technically 5, but the idea is that there's this problem in Wonderland that there's this giant train. The bad guy is a giant train that is tunneling through Wonderland and destroying everything. And the Cheshire Cat and everybody's like, you got to save Wonderland. Everything's fucked. Please help. And so you go through these different levels. Like the first one is the Mad Hatter's Tea Factory. And then the second one is like some weird like underground it's not ice, but it's like a sea level. The third one is the Caterpillar's like very racist Oriental area.
Yeah.
Which the Caterpillar always had like an Eastern Asian kind of thing to him. And I guess calling it racist is wrong because dude was living in Japan in China when he made it. So it probably came from like trying to talk about the story. But it was weird that it was like a very Chinese take, and then all the enemies are Japanese samurai wasps.
Yeah, that's
kind of weird.
It's a little mixed. I mean, granted, a lot of their histories are intertwined, so I can see.
The fourth level, which is probably my favorite, is dealing with the cards, the Red Queen's cards. Yeah. And it's really cool. There's a lot of like, you're in the sky, like in the clouds, and cards are coming out of nowhere to so you can stand on. And then the fifth level is, we'll get to that when I talk about more about the story. But the idea is that she goes through this break and she comes out and she's finding through Wonderland people that she needs to talk to. And the first person she talks to is their family's lawyer, who finds out that her older sister died first in the fire, but she was the farthest away from the fire. So how could she have died first? And so immediately someone's like, wait, hold on. What's up? So she goes back into Wonderland. She talks to some people and she learns from the Queen of Hearts, who is still alive, that the Queen of Hearts is not her anymore. Now it's her, but it's like not her. And it's telling her that you're forgetting part of yourself. And there's an enemy that is destroying Wonderland called the Dollmaker. And the Dollmaker is the one that's sending all the enemies. So in the first game, all the enemies were basically cards, because it was like the Red Queen's army, right? Who are all her cards. In this one, it's all these weird black goop characters that all have gross doll faces. And all of their weak points are doll faces. It's like, what is the Dollmaker? Who's the doll? Like, you have this immediate, like, what is this thing that is infecting Wonderland?
See, this is what... Because I know how this plays out, right?
Yeah.
This is one thing that I really love about this game. Is I think it tells a kind of fun story.
It tells I wouldn't say fun. Dark
I mean, like in the sense of like it is an interesting take on like a Wonderland story.
So you basically put together that like you didn't cause this fire, somebody caused this fire,
right? And
there's this person called the Dollmaker that causes fire, and you realize that Dollmaker has to be someone from reality,
right? And
the Dollmaker is he's taking the train and taking over. The Dollmaker is fucking your psychiatrist, Dr. Bumby. You find out that he was he molesting the older daughter?
So yes.
He was.
Yeah.
He was doing that, and what he's doing is that he is stealing orphans, using hypnotism to basically erase their memories totally, so that he can then sell them as blank dolls to child molesters.
Yeah.
This game gets dark immediately.
It really does. Also, trigger warning for anyone out there.
Yeah. So what's cool is, so the end of this game is you going down to a train station to confront him and be like, I know what you're fucking doing. And he's like, that's fine. I'm going to hypnotize you now, and you're not going to remember any of it, and I'm going to keep doing away with it. I'm going to sell you. You can't do shit because you're a little girl, and I'm big, bad, scary man. And so you have the final boss fight, and in your mind, you're fighting this big, giant doll maker who's got giant hands, and it's very spooky. But in reality, after the boss fight is basically you pushing his influence out of your brain, and then you just fucking Sparta kick him in the fucking chest. Well, I don't think she doesn't. She pushes him, but you push him into an oncoming train.
Could you imagine a hole opens up and she Sparta kicks him through it?
Yeah, okay, I just looked it up. Yeah, he attests that he set the home on fire after the older sister refused to sleep with him.
Yeah.
And then he did a word that we're not going to say to her, and then set the house on fire to cover his tracks.
Yep.
So this guy basically ruined your life,
and you're
like, fuck this.
Basically using therapy with you to try to fucking cover his tracks even more because you were still alive. You were somebody who is finding out every little bit as you play through this game.
And so the game ends after you've committed this murder in front of everyone. Thankfully, no one's around to see it, except the people on that train who definitely just saw a man get just pushed in front of a train.
Yeah.
And then you walk out into what looks like a hybrid of Wonderland and London, showing that Alice is kind of being able to merge the parts of her psyche that are broken with reality to create a new world for her to walk out into.
Yeah.
And so I will say the story in this game is pretty good. I will say that it is a little bottom heavy in that the beginning of this game is the idea that something's wrong. And then it's like 3 or 4 hour levels, which take multiple hours because those levels are fucking long.
Yeah, they're long. They're basically like giant hub worlds. It's like the first one, there's sections, basically. Yeah.
It's like chapter 1 is that like the tea factory where Mad Hatter makes all his tea, but it's like, okay, there's an entire path up to the tea factory. Then there's 2 wings of the tea factory where you have to fight the March Hare and the Dormouse, and then you have to get back with the Hatter to go to the main area. So it's like, that chapter is basically 5 or 6 levels. So they're pretty long. And I would say the biggest flaw in this game story-wise is that you get a lot of story in chapter 1. The chapters 2 and 3 are basically nothing. And then chapter 4, you don't get something until the end. And then the 5th chapter is when you're
everything.
Is everything. Yeah. I would like the story to be spread out a little bit more because it reminded me a lot of the first game of Alice where it's just nothing is fucking happening. I'm just following a path and there's not really story.
Yeah. It's just a platformer for being a platformer.
I do like that what this game has that the first game doesn't have is the Walrus and the Carpenter, which is one of my favorite parts of the first movie. And when you're in that second stage, it's all about getting the Walrus and the Carpenter to put on their play, and then you realizing that he's eating the fucking clams, which is sort of indicative of somebody's using these girls.
Right.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah. Gameplay wise, this game definitely dumbs down what the first game did. So the first game is you have your sanity, which is your health, and you have your willpower, which is your mana, and all of your weapons that aren't melee weapons take mana, and they take a lot of it. So you're constantly just if you don't want to just sit there swinging and you'll get hit, you have to be throwing from the back, and it's you're using up this mana. So it's a lot of running, waiting for it to refill and running away. This game is very simple in that they got rid of the sanity bar for roses. Roses are like hearts. Mm-hmm. And there is no willpower. There's only 4 weapons in the whole game plus 1 tool. And when you can upgrade them with a currency you get of teeth, but all you're upgrading is their damage capability. So it's you have 2 melee weapons and 2 range weapons. You have the Vorpal Blade, which is still a kitchen knife, and you have the not the rocking horse. What's it called when it's just a horse on a stick?
Like a gallop horse. I don't know what they're actually.
Fuck is that? There's a trophy based on it that was the most annoying trophy in the game. Hobby horse.
There we go.
The hobby horse is your heavy attack, and the Vorpal Blade is your light attack. And then you've got 2 range weapons. You've got the Pepper Mill from the Duchess, which is like a Gatling gun, and then you've got the Teapot Cannon, which is like a grenade launcher.
Yeah.
And then you've also got your you've got this tool, which is the only thing the circle button is used for, which should be used for dodging, but you can throw down this little Clockwork rabbit, which basically is like a decoy. All of the enemies look at that, and then you can explode it, but it does shit all damage. It's mostly just to get people off of you.
Yeah.
And that's the gameplay. The gameplay is get up to an enemy and press circle a bunch of, or no, I'm sorry, press square a bunch of times to slice it with your knife, and then if there are a couple people together or they have armor, you press triangle to do a big overhand sledgehammer attack, and you really only ever use the gun for flying enemies.
Yeah.
And then it's just that over and over again. It's a lot of jumping, It's a lot of using your drink me potion to become small to look for little areas you can go into to get to the next area, and it's just a lot of jumping puzzles which lead to like press this switch and then you can put your little rabbit down on a pad for about 10 seconds so you can make it to another thing. So it's like a lot of those puzzles.
Yeah. I genuinely think that the platforming in this game is I see, that's the thing. I kind of like it. I don't think that the worlds are too tedious as compared to the first one with this game.
So, absolutely not. Like compared to the first one, this game is, this game was made by fucking Nintendo. But I still think that there are parts of this game where I'm just doing the same thing. Like these levels could each be about half an hour shorter.
Sure. Yeah, I think that especially that era of games like that 2011, right?
Correct.
This is kind of about that time where platformers are kind of trying to figure out what they're trying to do. It's kind of weird. We're in a weird in between where like even Mario games were kind of trying different things at that time. That's why like 3D Land came out then, and then even with 3D World, those are very kind of different than your typical Super Mario or Super Mario Brothers, like where it's the side scrolling. We're in between like Jak and Daxter and what Ratchet and Clank would then go on to be, I guess. Now it is a weird area where I think it was just kind of like pad everything out as best you can because we really don't know how to make a very like, I don't want to say competent because I think this game is very competent, but like
they're scared that if they didn't put in enough that people will be like, oh, this game, it's like, I want my money's worth. Now it's like, if you make a game that's only 6 hours, but it's a tight 6 hours, people will sing your praises forever.
Right.
There it's like, if this game isn't 100 hours, then I've wasted my money.
Yeah. Yeah, that it was definitely that. So, but I also think that this again, much like its first game, is kind of a time capsule that you can go back. And I think if you're one of those people looking for, what was the platformer like in 2011, this is a good game to go back and kind of. Like,
I absolutely disagree with that statement because once again, this is a great game to play if you want to know what it was like to play a platformer in 2005.
Yes,
it came out in 2011.
That is
if you want to know what games in 2011 were like,
play 3D Land.
Go play Super Mario 3D Land, which is probably the best. That's probably my favorite Mario.
For sure.
It's not a bad game, but it's just like, it is such a. I'm glad we played it so we can shine a light on how fucking weird is this game.
It is
that
strange.
It plays like this, but.
Well, that was the thing too, even like getting back on it and looking at it again, I totally forgot. Like when I was playing it, I for sure in 2011 when I was playing it, didn't think of the Legend of Zelda as much as I did when I was playing it this weekend. Cause I was like, as soon as combat started, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm just playing Ocarina of Time. Like this is so strange.
Yeah, but a worse made Ocarina of Time.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, objectively speaking, but like, I don't know. It had a charm to it that I was like, I kind of love the idea of like, make an Ocarina of Time-esque adventure platformer like this, make it very linear in the way that this game is, and give it to me. Make it a 6-hour game, and I'm now mad remembering some things that I forgot about that make me like this game a little bit less. Which is this game does the cheapest thing you can do in combat, which is they throw a bunch of enemies at you at one time. So it's like, here's an enemy that's big and he's got these arms that cover his weak point. And the only way to remove them is that if you block with when you're targeting, you can block with the X button to put up an umbrella that'll like, if you hit it, if you put up the block, it'll block attacks. But if you do it right as like a projectile is being thrown at you, it'll throw the projectile back. Yeah. So there's this big guy that's like the big heavy enemy that he has little doll arms in front of his faces that he won't let you attack his weak points until you project back this thing. But at the same time, they're throwing two guys that are close combat that will go around you and hit you from the back and then put you into a stun lock, so then this guy will hit you. And at the same time, they're throwing up flying guys that will pester you with. So it's like
they do that thing of we're going to throw a bunch of enemies that all need your attention because they can't be attacked at once without doing a special thing, but the other enemies stop you from doing the special thing.
Right.
It is something that I've been dealing with in Forbidden West that is kind of annoying now that I'm getting deeper into it, where it's like I got to fight this big giant robot that's one of the giant ones that's as big as a fucking house, and I need to focus on these things, and then they throw these two little weasel bots at me that can burrow in the ground, and so it's like, all right, I'm locked on my guy, I'm trying to make my shots, and then all of a sudden to my left, like fucking clever girl out here with this little weasel that hits me in the fucking face. And Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West, I didn't talk about this on the Horizon Zero Dawn because I forgot about it. It does a thing I hate, which is anytime you take damage, it puts you in a knockdown state. So and you can be chain knockdown.
Yeah.
But of course, when you hit an enemy, that they have invincibility.
They stand up immediately. Yeah.
I hit an enemy and he just takes it and hits me back. He hits me and it takes 3 seconds for me to get up.
I'm currently going through that with Spider-Man a little bit, but
just don't get hit.
That's the thing is like I've kind of figured out combat now, so I think I'm like strong enough that I'm like, that's the one thing I look at that platinum, right? And I'm like, I have to do 100 combo, and I'm just like, that's actually happening. Like,
no, you don't have to do the 100 combo for the trophy. That's a DLC trophy.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Thank God. Because
also the 100 combo is very, very simple. Yeah. You put the game on the easiest difficulty, and you go to an area with like 20, 30 guys, and all you do is you do the reversal combos where you reverse and you hit them once or twice. And you just keep reversing over and over again, and you'll get it. I got it on like my second try. I accidentally like dropped one at like 83 the first time I did it because I didn't see a guy attacking me from behind. Yeah. But it's very, very simple. Just put it on easy and do that. Horizon also is doing the thing where it's like it's a big guy, and I'm gonna dodge to the side. So it's like he's coming right at me. So I'll do the thing and dodge to the side. So of course his secondary attack is to hit from the side. It's like, you motherfuckers. Yeah. But we're talking about Alice Madness.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say here is that I don't think fun.
I never found the combat fun. I didn't find the combat bad. There's times where it's bad. I don't think it's bad.
I think it's serviceable, but it's because that's the thing is,
I'm hating this game more and more as we talk about it.
Oh no. I love this. No, I think with this game, that style of gameplay, like the Z target attacking and all that kind of stuff, I'm glad it's gone. But I don't think that. I mean, it's maybe not the thing I want to do in a Zelda game, but like going back and doing it through this, it's like, yeah, I could totally do that in like a platforming, or not RPG, action adventure game where you're going from stage to stage to stage, not like in this world where it exists as a role playing game, like in Spider-Man or Horizon, where those are more role playing games than action adventure platformers. You keep
talking about Zelda when you talk about this game, and I get why it's because of Z targeting. I would never in a million years compare this game to Zelda. Zelda is an open world. Zelda's an open world game that has varying weapons and everything. This is a linear game that is all about jumping from platform to play. It's just wait for my jump. It is.
It's totally a platform. It just has that.
I would compare more to Ratchet and Clank. Like if you're going to compare it to anything, compare it to Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. But I feel like Ratchet and Clank is more of a shooter.
This game has
shooting, but I still kind of feel like, I don't know, they are very similar to Ratchet.
The reason that I would say that is, while yes, Ratchet & Clank is a shooter and this is more melee, the setup is the same. It is a linear thing. I think it's
because of the camera.
Do a jumping puzzle, get to an arena, fight a couple guys, go to the next shooting puzzle, go up here and shoot the guys. Like that's all it is.
Yeah. I think just solely in the camera work as to why I think of Zelda so fast, because as soon as you hold that button to like target your enemy, it pulls back right over. Like it just looks like young Link standing there with this little shield up and his sword in his hand. Like
it sure does, but I would never compare it to anything else. Like that is the only comparison to Zelda. Is literally Z targeting.
It's that. That's it.
But the trophies in this game,
how were those?
Okay, I'll give this game.
Did not platinum this game.
I will give this game 1 up, which is there is a trophy for beating this game on the hardest difficulty. But there is a workaround where if you play, I played the entire game on easy, and it was still kind of hard at some points because some parts are cheap. And then what you do is you start a new game plus, and it still gives you chapter select. So what you do is you start the game, you wait until you get to the first like autosave, and then you go back to the main menu and go to the last chapter of the final level, or of the first level, and play that, and then it'll roll into the second one, play until the first checkpoint. So you basically just play the first and last checkpoint of every level, and the game will think, oh yeah, you played it on Nightmare, and you'll get there. And the nice thing is the beginning and the end of each level is almost never combat based. Like the first part is always walking around in London talking to people, and then the end is like there's only one chapter that actually ends with a boss fight, and it's chapter 2. But like all the other 6 chapters, even the final chapter of the game, the last chapter is the cutscene of you kicking that guy into the bus and then the train and then walking out into the streets of London. So you don't have to do any of it's like one boss fight, which on the hardest difficulty is pretty hard. But once you go in with all of your weapons, it becomes kind of a joke because you already know how to defeat him, and it's kind of simple. I beat it on the first try.
You probably figured it out by then.
But if I had to play that entire game on Nightmare, I would have fucking thrown it in the trash. Yeah. The other trophies that are so like the big trophies that are also like it's find all the collectibles, except for one thing that is maddening to me. There are like 3 types of collectibles. There are memories. There are snout. You have to pepper snouts, which is a thing from
little pig noses up.
There's 4 types of collectibles. There's paint cans, which is you can paint, where they're painting the roses red in Alice in Wonderland. You can, if you find these Redula rooms, which are like challenge rooms, and except for level 1 and level 6, there's 4 on each level. And if you do all 4 of them, you get a new rose. And then there's these bottles, and there's blue bottles and gold bottles, and they unlock like concept art and everything. There's a trophy for finding all of the memories, specifically there's like different types of memories, finding all the memories about your house and finding all the memories, finding all the snouts and finding all of the Redula rooms. There is not one trophy for any of those bottles, and there are more bottles than anything else combined. Bottles are everywhere. Maybe I think there might be like as many bottles as there are memories, but it's like you are searching for all of these collectibles. There's like, all right, I finally did this hard puzzle. That's a fucking bottle. And so it's like I used a guide to find all the collectibles because I didn't want to have to replay anything. Because if you find a collectible, you have to wait until the next checkpoint. Sometimes those checkpoints are kind of far apart. And it's like every collectible guide also has all the bottles because they're like, it's a collectible guide. Let's give you all the bottles. And it's like, this video is an hour long, and if you took out the bottles, it'd only be 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't take that in. There's a couple of things for like doing some things without ever taking. Oh, there's also these peaches in the 3rd level, the Oriental realm. You can't say Oriental anymore, right? Is that?
I don't think you can. I think
that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not saying that. In the caterpillars realm, we'll call it that.
There we go.
You go into these 2D puzzles, and you have to find like 14 peaches throughout the levels. That's easy. But you got a couple things for like not taking damage. Like in part of level 2, there's a shmup where you are on the Griffin's underwater ship, and you just have to make it through without ever getting hit. That took me 2 tries because I made it to the very end, and right as I was about to win, some fucker shot me from behind.
Of course.
In level 4, there's a bunch of chess puzzles. You have to do one perfectly, which I like chess puzzles. In level 5, there's this one where it's basically like a Marvel Madness where you're controlling a doll head, and you have to do the harder second part in under 6 minutes. That one took some time because controls are fucked. So those trophies. There's some trophies for combat. There's like... there's the worst trophy in this game. There's a trophy called Nay Slayer for hitting 4 enemies at once with a single hobby horse ground smash, which is doing a ground smash with triangle. The problem is the enemies don't like to stand next to each other ever.
Yeah.
There's only one place in the game where there's enough enemies to do this for, and it still took me half an hour to get this fucking trophy because I put it up to the highest difficulty so they wouldn't take as much damage. Yeah. But still, even doing this, you do this attack and it ground slams them, but it pushes them away. And you have to do the third part. The only one that registers is the third part of a 3-hit combo. And so it's like you have to try to not hit anyone on the second hit and hit them with the third hit, but they kept getting in their own fucking way. That it's called Nay Slayer. That trophy sucks. There's a trophy for killing 10 enemies that are called bitch babies with deflection, which are these big giant floating doll heads that will either hurl like a poison cloud bomb at you or try to do a bull rush. The thing is, you can't control if they're going to do the bull rush or the green cloud, the fart cloud. Mm-hmm. And 95% of the time they want to do the green, or they want to do the fucking rush. So it's just Matt is sitting there like, will you please fucking throw a bomb at me? Will you please throw a fucking bomb at me? There's one for killing 30 enemies with your Clockwork Rabbit bomb, which, like I said, does 0 damage. So you just have to sit there and just put one down, get him close, hit, and it's like it takes like 6 bombs to kill one enemy. That took forever. There was one for beating the mini boss of level 2 without ever taking damage. That actually I did on my first try. That went too hard. But then there's one for beating the final boss without taking any damage. And that one is fucking infuriating. Now, they do it. There's 3 stages. And the thing is, they checkpoint you between each one. So if you can make it through the first one without getting hit, and you get hit and you have to like restart checkpoint, you don't have to do the first one again, which is nice.
Yeah.
And the first and second checkpoint are easy. The third checkpoint, the final boss fight is, do you know what I mean when I say a big hands boss?
Yeah.
Like there's a main guy in the middle and 2 hands that are disembodied that come around and try to get you.
Yeah, it's like the that one temple in Ocarina of Time.
And Wind Waker, and
every other Zelda. Yeah, you shoot the hands,
and they've always got like, instead of on his palms, the things you have to shoot are on the backs of his hands. But the first stage is against his right hand, and it does his attacks, and you can't whatever. Second phase is his left hand, and it's got some better attacks, and it's hard. The third phase is 2 hands at once. And they have an attack where they just start trying to grab you. And the thing is, okay, so you dodge. The thing is, it will sometimes, instead of following it's a big square arena with 2 poles in the middle. So it's like a figure 8, right? And so you'll be dashing around trying to get away from it. Sometimes it will just, instead of following you, it'll know where you're going to go and make a sideways move and get you. It's like, fuck, do it again. So after you survive its attacks, this guy will stick his tongue out, and he's got 4 doll heads that you need to shoot. So you shoot them, but the thing at the same time, these 3 flying enemies come out that shoot like mines at you, and you have to take them out. But the time frame to shoot the thing and shoot these things is almost the same, and they have a frame where they have a period where they're invincible because they suck their doll head weak spot back into their body, and there's 3 of them. So it's this annoying fucking thing of trying to shoot the thing, then shoot them. And the thing is that the Z targeting to target between things is not very good.
Right.
So you're struggling against the controls while trying to kill these things. It took me about an hour. It fucking sucks.
Sounds very infuriating.
The other thing that really sucks about this game is that there is a mechanic that if you're down to 1 heart, you can use a thing called Hysteria, which is a special ability to take no damage and do more damage. There's a trophy for not ever using it, so you can't even use it.
So now I got a question. Could you have used it throughout the game, and then on that playthrough where you were going to...
So here is what I realized after the game. Yes.
You could have totally just done that.
I could have totally gotten in on my second playthrough of never... Now... Yeah, so I fucked up.
That's funny.
You could have made this easier on myself, but it was myself.
But granted, then I guess you could technically have used that for the harder fight and that.
Yeah, it would have.
Or you could have just like gone back in on easy mode and just done it easier again.
Yeah,
it's been a third play.
My problem with trophies is always if a trophy is available, I want to get it immediately.
Right.
And sometimes some guys like, don't worry about this now. You can get it easier later, and it's like, but I want it now.
Yeah, I feel.
But I can do it now.
It's easier to check off the list whenever you're, going through it at the same time. Then
also something as a knock against this game trophy list, which we haven't talked about before, but the name of the platinum for this game is just platinum for all other trophies. That's boring. Kind of have a cool platinum name. That's a problem with Horizon Zero Dawn. The Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West platinum is just called all trophies obtained. All of the trophies, Guerrilla Games, I don't know why, but all of their trophies are like, I like trophies with cool names. Like Astro's Playground had all of those names, trophies that are named after Nintendo or PlayStation games. Fucking the Spider-Man game has a cool bunch of trophies. All of the trophies for Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West are what they are. Obtained 3 strikes at a hunting ground. Earned at least a quarter strike mark in all 3 trials at a hunting ground. Complete a set of salvage contracts. Completed all contracts at a salvage contractor. Why can't you have cool trophies?
Yeah,
so
I feel like if you're out there if you're on the team that makes trophies, don't do that.
Hire me.
Yeah,
hey,
hire one of us.
Okay, this is my biggest dream in life.
You've talked about this before.
I just want someone making a video game. If you're out there and you're making a video game for PlayStation and you want help making a list and naming trophies, I want you. I don't even need a lot of money. Like, I know you have to pay me something to make it legal, so it doesn't have to be much, but just like let me design a trophy list. Hey, if you're making an indie game that's going to go on PlayStation with trophies, like if you've got a Steam game that's going to come on trophies, I'll just contact me. I'll do it for just give me a free copy of the game and we'll call it good. Let me design your trophy list. It's all I wanted. It's my dream in life is to design a game's trophy list. There was that Kickstarter for that Yacht Club game about the rabbit.
Oh,
that's
yeah, Mina.
And if you pay enough money, you can like be one of their guys. Like you can be an associate producer for a day and design like a quest line. And I was like, I could do that, and I could make a quest line about a trophy about me. But it's like I don't want to pay that much money. But someone just let me.
Do you know how much that was?
It was like a couple. It was like a couple $1,000s. I don't want to do that, but I do want to design a trophy list for a video game that will be on PlayStation, and it'll have good trophies, and everyone will like them. They won't be so shit easy that people are like, this is a shit easy game, but it will be enough that people will have fun and enjoy the game, and they'll have cool names, and I'll help you design the names, and we'll design the pictures, and it'll be the best trophy list of all time. Just someone please give me this job. Okay. My rating for Alice Madness Returns. I was going to give it higher, and now I'm like, maybe this game is lower.
I love it. Initially, what did you think? Where was the barometer at when you started?
I was going to call this game for fun. I was going to give it a silver.
Okay.
And now I'm thinking, like, does it deserve a silver or is it bronze? Because there are large swaths of this game that I can't remember because instead I was watching The Wild Boys on DVD on a second TV because it was just kind of nothing boringness. And like, this is a 20-hour game that could have easily been 10 to 12.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you there. I think if it were a 10-hour game, it'd be a lot smoother. It's choppier. It's to the bit. Like
I think I have to be mean, and I have to, for fun, I have to give this game a bronze. What are you giving this?
I think for fun. See, I'm a sucker for this genre, so I think, man, yeah, I think I'd give it a silver. I think it's solid.
I think that's fair. I think that I would give this a silver if it wasn't for like those 6 to 8 hours of nothing. For trophies, however, because you have to play all of American McGee's Alice to get the 100% in this, which that game sucks, and for the trophy that took away my ability to make this game easier, even though later I did realize that was on my own fault. But for that fucking naysayer trophy and that whatever, I'm giving this a bronze. Overall, this is getting basically a 2 out of 5. This is a bronze for me. This is should you go and get the trophies for this game? Well, it's a rare platinum at 14.56%, and you can get around the hardest trophy, which is playing it on Nightmare, by playing it on easy. So, should you get it? I think, you know what? If you want a fun trophy, you should get it. Should you go and play this game for fun if you have no, like, attachment to it? I would say you could probably skip this unless you're, like, have this weird obsession with either Alice in Wonderland, creepy, weird stuff, stories about sexual assault, but then, like, the sexual assault victim, well, she's not really a victim because she didn't get sexually assaulted, but you know what I mean? Like, getting back at the evil people, like, it's fine. Or
it's a revenge.
It's a good revenge story.
Yeah.
Or if apparently your favorite movie is Sucker Punch and you're just the worst person I've ever met in my entire life. That's not true. Soup's great.
Like, I'll do you one better. I think that if you are somebody who is super into the platformer genre, sure, check it out, especially if you haven't played this or the first one. I still like the first one. I do think, yes, it does play like a game from 2000. Fully expect that when you go. Not only that, it plays like a computer game from 2000.
If you're getting this and you're not trying to go for trophies, this is a time where I would suggest getting it on Steam, because I think it's pretty cheap on Steam.
It's free on Game Pass.
It's free on Game Pass?
Yeah.
It's still kind of an expensive PS3 game. This can range anywhere from $30 to $35. So
it makes sense.
For PS3 games, that can be like PS3 games at that range should be like high quality games.
Yeah.
So it's like that's kind of expensive but also it's kind of just a cool thing to have because it's not exactly a rare game, but it's definitely an uncommon
game. It's a weird game. Like again,
it's a weird game.
It is something that I never thought in a million years would come out from
that aspect. If you are a trophy collector like me, it is a cool, weird thing to have in your collection.
Yeah,
I'll give it that. I'll say that. It is definitely like dude, I platinumed Alice Madness Returns. That's fucking weird. But
I think it.
I'll say this at the end of the day. I'm glad that I played it for as much as I've been like for years. Is that American McGee's Alice? Fuck that. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I finally played it. I will probably never play this game again for the rest of my life.
That's whenever you said we were going to play this game, I was like, wow, I never thought I would ever play this game again.
Exactly.
But I'm kind of glad that I did because it brought back a lot of like fond memories of like playing this game with friends and even with friends that I haven't talked to in like 10-15 years. It's like, wow, this is like, it's like a nice little piece of nostalgia, and which is kind of odd whenever you think that the game is about trudging through your past and it's like a fucked up game, but like but
hey, the story is definitely fucked up for being about Alice in Wonderland, but also it's about child sex trafficking. But I'm definitely glad that I played it. I'm glad I did this episode. This was a great way to open up the year of the weird.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally there. Honestly, the more I kind of like got back in with this game, I kind of want to look up like what a speed run of this game would look like because I feel like it would have some interesting tech to it, but I don't know. I think it might be worth checking out on that because even the first game, I was like, kind of blasting through because like it was some of that like old muscle memory came back where I was like, oh yeah, I remember okay, it's this got it. And then like some of like the weirder platformy parts where like it feels like you're everything is on rounded edges and you just keep sliding off of things. I was like remembering like, oh yeah, just jump here, got this, that, cool. So it was like I kind of started feeling that little itch of like, oh, I bet this is a fun speed run to watch. So I think that's like homework for myself, or maybe even when the next, like I said, it'd be Summer Games Done Quick. If that rolls around, if this is on that list, I might.
I mean, I've never seen it on that list before, so it probably won't be.
Yeah, I don't think that the first one could. I don't think this one gets on the list, or if it does, it's at night. Like it is an overnight game that like, they probably
Speedrun.com has the current fastest time without loads, any new game plus any percentage, 1 hour 37 minutes 57 seconds. Time with loads 1 hour 41 minutes 23 seconds. So you can beat it in under 2 hours. This game took me a week.
It's not too. Oh, and you know what? There was a. It was a bid incentive for 2000. Okay, this makes sense. Summer Games Done Quick 2012. I don't think that GDQ in their current capacity would ever run this game in their marathon ever again. But
first game, time without loads 46 minutes 36 seconds. Time with loads 47 minutes 33 seconds. By the way, same dude with it's the same guy. By the way, the speed run, the best speed run of all time, set 5 days ago.
Wow. So it's still like
everything else
That's
6 to 9 years ago.
It's kind of wild to see that it's got like its own community then, I guess, still in the speedrunning community. That's kind of neat. I like that. If we're gonna have a show, we have to figure out what we're gonna play next.
Well, listen, the Year of Weird, that's me. I did that. You have a couple games that I know you've been playing. Are you ready to pull the trigger on any of them, or what do you want to talk about?
Ooh.
It's to the listeners right now. This is you picking a game. Tell them what they're playing. Tell them what
I had one idea because I was like, well, we could totally talk Spider-Man, but I feel like we've talked about it enough on this show, you know?
Okay, yeah.
There is another game which I think you've platinumed.
What is it? Say it. We're gonna play it right now.
I wanted.
Wait, is this part of?
Yeah.
What? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to dip into a platformer myself.
Okay. I like the platform.
It's a game. It's a reboot, actually. I think.
Oh, no.
Kind of.
Okay.
But it is by the same studio as Spider-Man, and I want to play 2016 Ratchet and Clank.
Fuck, I haven't played that.
You haven't?
You just picked the next game I'm playing.
Well, perfect. Because I want to talk about that. I want to play that game.
2016 Ratchet and Clank. You heard it here first. Wow, I fucking suck at talking. Fuck. All right. Well, I got to beat Horizon, and then I got to get straight into this game because I've got to get it done before the next episode. Because unlike some people, I like to play the video games before I talk about them.
I always there's
Melody
one
of Memory.
Never happening.
Melody of Memory. You can't call it the worst game if you've never played it.
Never happening. It is the worst.
Nope, absolutely not. The worst game of last year was 100%. We voted on it, and it's Bean Battles. Bean Battles was the worst game of 2020.
We agreed that was best discovery, right?
Fuck you. My friends, our friends out there, this has been another great episode of a great podcast. So go and pick up. Hey, fucking that Ratchet and Clank game has been free a billion times. Yeah. So you probably own it and you don't even know it. Or it's part of the PS Plus collection if you have PS Plus on PS5. So play that so that we can all get the trophies together and we'll all have a lot of trophies. Even though we'll all get trophies, one thing will still stay straight because I'm going to get all those trophies, which means that I have more trophies than you.
We did it.
We did it. I have to poop really bad.
Go poop.
That was it.
Hey, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. If you'd like to send us questions, gaming memories, comments, or if you just want to know when the next episode's going to drop, then you can follow us on Twitter at MoreTrophiesPod. That's MoreTrophiesPod. That's MoreTrophiesPod. Also, you can email us at ihavemoretrophiesthanyou@gmail.com. It's just the name of the show, all one word, at gmail.com. Also, be sure to follow Ryan at Dr._Ryan on Twitter. You can also keep up to date with his Monday night Twitch streams office hours at twitch.tv/Dr._Ryan. That's Dr._RYAN. Dr._Ryan on both Twitch and Twitter. And follow Chris on Twitter at Burezu in Japan. Now, I know what you're thinking. Don't worry, I'm going to spell it out for you right now. That's BUREZUINJAPAN. That's all one word, Burezu in Japan on Twitter. And when they are streaming, you can check them out at twitch.tv/BlazeTK. That's BLAZE, the letter T, the letter K on Twitch. BlazeTK. Thank you again so much, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode.